Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, where we believe coaching solves everything.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the I Love Coaching podcast. I am your host today, Adam Roach, and today we have someone that is near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to tell you why. She's now been in our lives for almost 2 years. Can you believe that? Almost 2 years. She works. Well, I'm going to let her explain who she is, but Jess, I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you for being on the I Love Coaching podcast. And who are you, by the way? Tell us again.
Oh, it is an honor to be here. Yes, we've worked together for a while now. It has been such an honor to see your company's growth, right? And be able to be a part of that. My name is Jessica Swingle. I am an entrepreneur and business coach at the core. I work on several different projects. I'm the chief integrator for a real estate investor platform called Grid. And I work with private clients as a consultant and a coach to help them build their businesses. I say build better and work smarter, because I'm really focused on branding, systems, and productivity to get stuff
build
done.
Better, work smarter.
That's
Love
right.
that.
Yes.
So building better and working smarter. So today we're going to be talking about personal leverage, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Tell us more about that for the layman that is listening right now. Personal leverage. I mean, what does that even mean just from a definition standpoint in your words?
Yeah, I think personal leverage refers to anything that you have people help you do on your behalf that is not directly related to your business. So to kind of give you a background on how this became so important to me, my husband was a prior Army Ranger, and we've been married for 15 years. And collectively out of those 15 years, he's been gone, if you add it all up, 7 years. So he's been gone half of our marriage. And I had to get really good at having extra hands help me with all the stuff that I had to do at home. And so I guess I'll take it even a step back. It's so interesting to have this conversation with you today because I have such hesitation around talking about it, and I don't know why. And I think it really is because I didn't grow up with personal leverage. I was the oldest of 4 children. My mom was a single mother. She was a nurse. And so we didn't have anything like that. Wasn't even in our vocabulary. We didn't have cleaning ladies. We didn't have housekeepers. And so it just feels a little strange, I guess, at my core to even talk about it. But the truth is, personal leverage has absolutely changed my life. It has absolutely changed my family's life. And it's had a direct positive impact on all of my professional projects that I pursued. So it was, I first kind of started hearing about personal leverage when I started in real estate. It was over 10 years ago, and somebody came in to talk to our agents in our brokerage office, and he was a top agent, and somebody had asked him, what's the first thing that you bought with all the money that you made, or the money that was coming in? And he said, the first thing I did was hire somebody to do my laundry. And I'm mid-20s. I'm thinking, that's such a strange answer. Like, I wouldn't have thought about that answer, but it really stopped me in my tracks. And so anyway, kind of fast forward, my husband's in and out. And we said, you know what, we're just gonna find someone to help us around the house, to do the laundry, to do the cleaning, so that you can focus on your career. I can focus on my career. And we just take all of that off our plate. And mind you, this is a time where we had no money. We were the rich poor living in the DC metro area. And we really said, we need more time. Like, we have to consider it an investment. And so we kind of, put an ad out there and said, professional couple who need help, in the home, and had a wonderful lady. Her name was Maria. And at that time, she became like family to us. And she just swooped in a couple of days a week, and wow, you go to work and you come home and the bed's made and everything's done for you. And that was the beginning of my personal leverage journey, just to see how powerful that could be.
Yeah.
So
Isn't it
answer
fascinating? So I'll go back and share a funny
Yeah.
story. Clearly, we grew up very similar, and we didn't have that type of leverage in my household either. And it wasn't until I moved to LA that I lived in
Mm.
LA. And man, I saw a lot of people cutting their grass that didn't live at the house that they were cutting the grass of, number one.
Mhm.
Number two, again, we saw people going in and out, and they were called cleaning ladies. And again, we were all Midwestern Hoosiers that didn't really understand, or at least I
Mhm.
didn't understand that concept. And I'll never forget the very first time we had a cleaning lady. And I have a question behind this, but I'll share the experience
Yeah.
first. She was coming over, and let's just say it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had already been up for quite a while. And she went into the kitchen to start to clean up some of the dishes that were there. I felt so bad that I went to help her.
Mm.
And she was
Mhm.
like, Mr. Adam, no, please, you cannot do that because this
Mm.
is what you're paying me for. So let's go into this from a question standpoint. What do we feel and or think that stops people from doing a hiring of a personal leverage? And we can let's just stay right there in the
Mhm.
housekeeping space. What do you think stops people from doing that?
Yeah, I think it's a limiting belief.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a limiting belief that maybe they deserve it,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not rich enough, I'm not privileged enough. That's something that rich people do. Um, and I also think that some of them don't know what to do if they did hire somebody. So I'll kind of clarify when I say kind of housekeeping. Um, it's relatively easy to kind of hire a cleaning crew, right?
Sure.
Hire a cleaning crew. They come maybe once a month, they come every 2 weeks, but that wasn't enough
Mm-hmm.
for me, because I really wanted somebody to swoop into the home and remake the beds, put the dishes away, do all like the daily stuff.
Right.
And so what happened was, instead of kind of a cleaning crew coming, once a month, I have found that it's having somebody come in a couple hours a day is what really moves you forward. And that's a major difference, right? Like, it's not a live-in housekeeper, but it's not necessarily like a cleaning crew either. It's somebody who is, and I tell my housekeeper now, her name's Heidi, and she has been with me for 4 years. And I consider her a life partner. I really, really do. And I tell her all the time, like, Heidi, you are not, the housekeeper is not even the word. She's helping me run my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's bigger than cleaning my house. Honestly, it's helping. And especially when my husband was gone, there was no way I could do it. Oh, and answer your question too. I don't think people know what to do. That's what keeps them from doing it. They don't know how to structure that. They don't know how to delegate well,
Mm-hmm.
or they're afraid to delegate. Right.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I can dive into delegation, and they don't deserve it. And there was one more that I was going to say that I forget now. But I think there's multiple things that get in the way psychologically that keep us from making that investment. I
Right.
don't think we talk about it enough in the business world.
Yeah.
Who's doing your laundry? I mean,
Right.
do I have time to do
I
laundry?
could not agree more. Here's the fun fact with all of this, right? And we can parallel this to business, which I would like to do. Think about it this way, everybody. You are the master of whatever space you're in, or at least whatever vertical you are in, and you probably leverage out, or at least you should be leveraging out in the business space, the things that you are not good in, or if you're coaching with me, anything's not revenue generating, right?
That's right.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
there are definitely people that clean my house that are way better than me at cleaning my house. There are people that do the laundry that are way better than me. And I actually enjoy doing laundry, by the way. There are people that cut my grass that are way better than me. And I actually enjoy playing in the yard. So yeah,
Right.
leverage is definitely king there.
And it's not a lesser than task, right?
No.
Like for Heidi, who comes into my house pretty much every day of the week for just for a couple hours. She loves it because it gives her flexibility. I don't micromanage her. We have systems set up. She knows exactly what to do. She can come get her kit. Like, it's a very friendly gig for her like work, lifestyle. And she just, she's like, yeah, like, this is what I do. I help out the family. And then in turn though, but she sees me run around like crazy doing Zoom calls and meetings and trying to build a business like that. Right. I need to stay in my superpower. If I have to go in there and do the things that she does, it I just can't get as far as I can if I have some leverage in my life.
And you absolutely nailed it with that word. And it's truly one of my favorites that you use is your superpower, right?
Mhm.
Your
Sure.
superpower is not the things that you leverage out. Sure, you are capable and competent enough to be able to do them. That's
Yeah.
not your superpower, though.
And she doesn't want to do what I do.
Sure, of course not.
You know, she looks at me, she's like, I don't want Jess's life, you know? So
Right.
I think there's things at play. But to go back around to delegation, I think it's a mind shift too. So for example, the people that I've talked to about this kind of one-on-one will say, and even Caroline and I have good discussions about this.
Mhm.
She says, well, I need to do so and so and so and so. I'm like, no, you don't. You know, you don't. You have somebody do that. Things like running to the UPS store to drop off the shredding. Things like just running to the store to pick up something random.
Sure.
Right? Things like, oh, my kid forgot his book bag at school. Heidi, can you go drop it off? Right? Little errands, little things, in addition to the normal stuff, the normal chores of the house that they can do that really helps you out. And I say this to my husband a lot. I say, my God, like we can quantify how much time this takes because we pay her hourly. I can literally quantify how many hours in a week it ends up being. She helps us about 15 hours a week. Where's that 15 hours going to come from? If I don't have an extra set of hands, it's literally 15 hours a week. We can quantify it, right? So it is not a pie in the sky thing. We can, in black and white, we know how much she works on just keeping us afloat,
Right.
just keeping things moving around the house, you know?
And here's the thing too, again, we have entrepreneurs and business people that are listening to this right now. And those that are listening understand their time value of money, right? They truly should. And if you don't, listeners, that's okay. Go figure out what your time value of money is. And then go back and look and take Jess's example there of 15 hours. If you were to do the things that a leveraged person would do for 15 hours, what have you decreased your time value of money to? Right? Yeah. And, or if you want to look at it from an ROI standpoint, just of dollars and cents, right? Leveraging out that $15. And let's even just say it costs you $20 an hour, $30 an hour, right? Figure out what that math, and then think about it. 15 hours. What is your time value of money? I guarantee it's greater than what you're getting ready to spend. Probably should be at least sixfold.
Yeah. And it allows me, I guess here's the other thing. It allows me to go home after a lot of activity in my business day and have a soft place to land.
There it is.
So I'm a little more on the OCD side. Like I'm very, which is probably what makes me great at what I do, but it's also a liability if I don't control it, meaning I'm very sensitive. I can see things when they're out of place. And so when I go home at the end of the day, if things are all over the place, it really affects me. I can't calm down, you know? And so she's creating for me a soft place to land, allowing me to go to work, do my job, do the best I can, and then come home and spend quality time with my family, right, and my kids, and when my husband was gone, literally just spend time with my kids and keep them on track, because Lord knows we have a laundry list of things that we have to do with the kids that you can't delegate, right? Like school stuff and homework and things like that. So it has profoundly changed my life. And then another point I guess I'll mention is I alluded to a little bit earlier that I look at it as an investment. It's an investment in me, period, and stop. Right. Like it's not, we've been in positions before where, man, we're like rubbing two sticks together to get by. And I've always said, we're keeping our leverage. We can't skimp there, because then it's all going to fall back on us, and I won't be able to perform and get us to where we need to be financially. Like it's a real thing. So if you look at it, especially all the entrepreneurs on here, as an investment in your business, a direct investment in you and your business, man, like it could blow up your potential.
Yeah, absolutely. There was, I talked about this just individually, solo wise in the I Love Coaching community on a Monday Mojo, all about, again, now just human personal leverage with understanding how to use an aura ring, which is leverage, right? Because that tracks your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding
Oh,
how
right.
to, right? Understanding the simple ways of leveraging yourself
Mm,
for health sake, right? And that was the path that
sure.
I went down here. So I want to transition this, right? I want
Yeah.
to, I know personal leverage is the conversation topic here. I want to take it into the business space though. So
Mm-hmm.
now you have 15 extra hours. Heidi has given that to you, right?
Yes.
Though, can we take that and go into the business, and can we leverage even that 15 hours to create more
Mm,
time for you through, let's just hypothetically say, maybe you're not the best in the social media space, right? But you feel like you have to have a social media presence, and social media takes time. This is kind of funny. Honey, if you're listening, the kids did this math the other day. They did the math based on the number of posts you have for 5 minutes per post times the number of posts that you had, did some math, and it came out to you've been posting for 9 days, a total of whole 9 days, right? And if you look at something like that, what truly is your time value of money from a post standpoint? So what do you think in the space of business leverage
mm,
that now you've got 15 hours back, and you
mm-hmm.
go get even more time with that
Mm-hmm.
15 hours now that you have back? Let's talk about that. What do you think? What would you
Yeah.
tell someone?
Yeah. I would say, I, I would say I love that question because it really does end up being a compound, like exponentially compounding the leverage on your time, which I love. I think that's amazing. I think that leverage is great, but what I see a lot of people struggle with is business owners will try to hand off a piece of the business, but they don't really know what's involved. So it's hard for them to maybe find the right person
Mm,
or outline the right tasks. It's almost like you have
mhm.
to have some kind of wherewithal of the thing that you're trying to delegate,
Okay.
right? If you're just having a sense of, what is it that you are actually delegating? So I would say that's step one. It's like when you say social media, okay, very
Mhm.
specifically, what are you leveraging out? Content creation, the publishing, the graphic design, right? We got to peel back the layers of what are we actually leveraging out? Because I see people throw money at hires and it doesn't work out. It's like, well,
Right.
yeah, you don't know what you're delegating necessarily. So you don't really know what you're hiring for, what you really need.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing is, yeah, like finding out what you really, really need first, really peeling back the layers on that so you can find the right people for the right seats, those leverage seats. Because I find that when you have the right people, you don't need a ton of people,
Right.
right? If you're
Yes.
moving quick and
Mm.
fast and clean and your team knows exactly what's expected of them and there's this really kind of tight camaraderie. I see this in grid. For example, I have a small, like I call them, we're small but mighty.
Yeah.
We're just a small team, but we're in sync. We're all rowing in the same direction. But it took me a couple of years to get there. And I always say, if we would have started the company and somebody would have handed us $100,000, $500,000 and said, here's the money, go build it. I wouldn't have known what to do with it
Right.
at that time, right? I
Mhm.
kind of had to get in there, wait around a little bit, figure out what, how to build it, what we needed. And some of that was my naivete as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur that I just had to kind of have more experience. But yeah, so I think it comes with time, getting better and better at being able to see what is delegatable
Yeah.
and then finding the right person to take extreme ownership of that task.
Yeah. Agreed. So you came up with, what I heard there was, what do you need? Get specific there.
What you need, that's exactly, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
And then
That's
what
right.
I heard also is, what problem will that individual solve, or
Mm-hmm.
individuals, right? And again, you have to see your gaps. You have to see the gaps. Now, again, this can be a parallel conversation both in personal and in business. But what do you need, and what problems need to be solved?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny. My sister said this to me once. She said, Jess, she said, I struggle with, I said, Rachel, you have to hire a housekeeper. Like you have to have somebody come in a couple of days a week. And she said, but I wouldn't even know what to tell them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Right.
what do you mean? That and that and that and that. And I take it for granted because that's one of my strength zones is figuring out how to see what needs done, and communicate that to the right people. But I think it would be a common, that would be common for both business leverage and personal leverage. It's like, what do I even tell her to do? What do I tell her to do? And I'm like, she could do everything.
Right.
Yeah. But they don't. So I think maybe that's a skill set, right? It's like, what needs to be delegated? How do I need to communicate it? And here's the other thing, Adam, that's really powerful is how to track it.
My favorite.
So once you do, right, what needs to be measured gets managed, or what needs to be managed gets measured, whichever that one is. It's true. It's so for my housekeeper, we use a tool called Todoist, and Caroline and I, we were all using it for a while.
To-do list. Yeah.
Yeah. Todoist. That's just my personal favorite. And what it does is it allows us to communicate on the app without me having to text her or having talked to her. And by the way, I use the same thing with my husband. We've used it together for years, because if I tell him to do something, he will forget to do it. But if it goes on Todoist, it becomes, it's black and white, and I don't even have to verbalize it. I just put it on there. Fill up gas tank or whatever, one-off tasks. Get Porter's shoe off the roof. Like whatever it is, I put it on there, and then he sees it. And when he can get to it, he does it, and he clicks it as complete, and I get it in my email. So we never have to have a conversation about it at all. And it works for us because he's, and there's some people are implementers. Sure. Like these are implementer personalities. So he's like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Just tell me what to do. But he can't think as well about what needs to be done as I can.
Right. Yep.
So having a simple tool, whether it's professional or personal, that keeps everything, all the projects transparent, and keeps you all on the same page. That has been, one of the secrets of it all.
And now I'm going to go into a quick little story here of our relationship related to all of that.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, so tell our listeners Todoist. So tell them where they can go get that real quick. It's
todoist.com.
Gotcha.
And it's just a little app. Yep.
Right. It's phenomenal. So check this out, everybody. So we have the I Love Coaching organization, as you all know, and we're growing leaps and bounds, as you all are a part of. And if you're not a part of it, you're definitely missing out. So you want to be included. And so Caroline and I, it was just her and I, right? It was literally just her and I. And you were our third part of our team growth, because you came in and started to really help clean up the things that you knew based on your experience that we knew we needed, but you gave us even granular vision of what we needed. So you helped solve problems that we didn't realize we had problems. And I'm sharing this, everybody, because that's leverage, right? We brought in a specialist to teach, show, coach, and then help solve problems that we didn't even know we had. And that right there is, in my opinion, think about that. I was 2 spaces removed from that growth, and that was leveraged, right? Because we had an amazing expert in yourself. You were coaching Caroline to implement the things that you were coaching her on. And then now we are here where we are.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is that's exactly what you did. So you leveraged Caroline's time, and Caroline and I work together because we're working at a granular level. We're working on all the details of the business, and that's not your superpower. So we want you to stay over here, and we work together. So it's almost like those are two layers or 2 levels of leverage that you've created through Caroline and through me.
Right.
So you're just, you're removed, Fred, and things just happen.
Right. It's things happen because because
Your vision.
we were specific, right? We knew what we were looking to create
That's right.
at that moment
That's
in
right.
time, right?
That's right. That's
and then
right.
the communication happened based on my conversations with Caroline and then her conversations with you, right? You gave step number 1, be specific. Step number 2, I wrote down as communication.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like you just said, finding the right people who are focused on the right things.
Right. Exactly.
That can help move you forward.
So let's give our listeners some action items. Let's give them some to-do lists.
Okay.
So in the space of leverage, and we can go down
Mhm.
either path here, personal and or business. What do we want them to go do? We're both coaches here. You are a phenomenal one. And I love we have 2 different mindsets here, right? Not mindsets, but 2 different minds. You're the integrator mind, and I'm more of the visionary mind. So yours is going to be a little more granular than mine. So you go first. What do we want to tell our listeners to go do?
Write a list of everything that you're currently doing that you no longer want to do.
Love it.
Anything from making the bed on the professional side to publishing social media posts on the business side. You have to be specific about what you want.
And get now they have to brush their teeth, right? They can't really hire someone to brush their teeth. I mean, I guess you could, but that'd be a little odd.
Yeah. I mean, and self, it's self-care, right? That having that leverage allows me to take care of myself when I need to take care of myself.
Totally.
It's massively important. So that would be mine.
Love it.
Write
a list of things you do not want to do. Okay.
Yep. And I'll tell you before you give me an example, but one of the things that I leverage out every year is setting up and decorating the Christmas tree.
Brilliant.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But what did I do? I created the vision. I knew what bulbs I wanted. I knew what I wanted it to look like. I created the vision and then had somebody else execute that vision.
Love it.
So whenever I know that I have reached past my point of value and now, actually putting the bulbs on the things, I'm no longer as valuable as I am like in the vision role in that instance, then I delegate it out. And somebody said, Jess, I can't believe somebody said, I can't, my mind is like, I wouldn't even thought about delegating the Christmas tree. And if you'd like to do it, then great. Like by all means, but I just particularly don't want to do it. It's just not of interest to me. So I delegate it. What's yours, Adam? What's the action item that you would put?
Well, here's what I would, I'm a very visual person. So I would have them draw a circle first. At the top of that circle, I'm going to have you write circle of focus. And the circle of focus, I want you to draw lines of that area of focus of all the things, almost very similar, that you actually do. Right? What are all the things you actually do? So you go to sleep and you wake up, you put your feet on the floor, and what happens next? Right? From the time that then you go back to sleep, or at least you walk over to the bed, you put your feet on the floor and you lay down your head on the pillow. What is everything that you do inside of that wheel of focus? Because that's your day, right? And I would imagine, Jess, what do you think? That day is probably at least 70 to 80, maybe even 90% the same thing over and over and over.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Then the lines that you draw, right, to the center of the circle, I want you to write down everything you do. And I want you to think of it as a piece, a pie, right? A big pie. And if you have a lot of lines, there's a lot of unhappy people that are getting a very small sliver of that pie, right? So I want you to go to the opposite. Now I want you to start getting rid of your lines, right? So everything you do, I want you to start getting rid of your lines. Very similar to what you said, write a list of the things you don't want to do. Now let's start getting rid of some of the lines, and you start giving out bigger pieces of the pie, right? And the bigger pieces that you get is probably going to increase your quality of life.
Oh, it will. And, as you're talking about that, I thought about something else, because I think this is a version of leverage, and it is cleaning up your stuff. So for example, cleaning up your files, your folders, your desktop, your desk, your phone apps, because anything that gets in the way, anything that we can do to make a more seamless day happen, I think it's like a form of leverage, right? So whether it's little systems or setting up something on autopilot, like when you pay your bills, I don't know, I guess that, yeah, that could be an example.
Sure.
Just anything that you can automate even is a form of leverage.
Yes.
Automate, and that should really come first. That should come first. You should figure out everything that you can automate, and then you delegate. Really, automate then delegate. So systems and cleaning up. I always, I at least personally am 1,000 times more effective at anything that I do when things are in order. Now, not everybody operates that way, and I totally get that. But the kind of work that I do, if I'm organized and I have a zero inbox email policy, if I'm organized, I can outwork you. I can tenfold outwork you. You will not be able to touch my level of productivity. You just will not, because I've taken the time to get everything in order, set up the systems where I need to set them up. And I just work. And that's kind of like the work smarter part, is that's how you increase your productivity. So anything that you can do to increase your personal productivity, I guess, would be a form of leverage.
Right. Yep. For sure. Couldn't have said it any better myself. And here's the thing that I want to add to that. Productivity, guys, doesn't have to always equal business. Productivity can be your life. Productivity can be time with your kids. Productivity can be time with your significant other, right? In the whole aspect, in your health, right? In the wheel of life, as we look at it through that lens, productivity can have many different definitions. And if you're stuck doing some of those small little lines on that pie, that big old circle, productivity goes down.
That's right. That's right. It's friction, right?
Oh,
so we want to
we could sit here and talk about this all day.
We could. I could.
But unfortunately, we have to end here. So here's what I want everyone listening right now. If you're driving, don't do this. If you're just listening at your desktop or wherever on your phone, I want you to go follow Jess right now. So Jess, where do they go follow you?
They can follow me on Facebook, Jessica Swingle, and they can follow me on Instagram, Jessica_Swingle.
Gotcha.
You'll get
How do they hire you?
They can email me, jessica@jcompanies.co, and tell me a little bit about your project, and we can go from there.
Okay, gotcha. For all those listening, 100% recommend Jess and all that she does. Absolutely amazing work. If you want to see her work, go to ilovecoachingco.com. Yep. Yeah. If you want to see her work, go look at all of our summit stuff from 2021. Yeah. Yep, built it. If you want to see anything that has to do with her DNA and her fingerprints, come over here to our headquarters. Go talk to Caroline. That's her DNA all over that. So 100% recommend all across the board. So thank you for all you've done for us.
Oh, thank you so much, Adam. I look forward to continuing to grow our empires together.
That's what we do. Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening to us today. My name is Adam Roach. I have been your host. You've just listened to Jess share with you how to leverage your entire world. If you've liked this podcast, fantastic. Go like us, go follow us. If you did not like this podcast, I apologize, but keep listening to us. Okay. That's right. And I want to give a little bit of, I want to plug something real quick. We are having our 3rd annual I Love Coaching Summit. It is going to be in November. So I want you to go to I Love Coaching Summit 2022 and go register. Go check out the early bird pricing right now, because that will change here shortly. And that will then go to not so early bird pricing. Yep. And go check that out.
It's going to be bigger and badder than ever.
Absolutely. It's going to be at a baseball stadium this year. So I Love Coaching Summit 2022. Go check it out. And we will see you all next time. See you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.